feel like to be in San Diego Comic Con?
Oh, it's my first time here, and I haven't seen much of it yet. I've just come into conference rooms, but so far I'm actually in shock by. I just did like a massive panel, and there was so many people there, and I don't know. I just expected there to be like 30, and it was just like so many. It was the biggest room I've ever seen, and I was just like, wow, this is my life. This is crazy. I'm having a great time.
It's us Yankees.
Yeah, no, I'm having a really good time.
You guys want to go on a circle this way?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, how did you get involved in this, and what drew you to this very snarky fairy character?
Well, she's a bit of me. Essentially.
I know. I heard you in the panel. I was like,
yes,
that's her.
it's very. I didn't need to act. It was literally me. Essentially, I was playing like a fairy version of myself, and I got involved because I'm good friends with Jonah Ray. So Jonah is a comic, and he and I did a show in England together. We did a comedy show together, and I told him I was moving to LA, and he was like, I live there, and I was like, cool. We kept in touch, and then one day he just texted me and was like, hey, I don't know if you'd be into this, but I'm directing this, and he told me everything about Third Eye. I'll send you the script. I read the script, and I was like, I don't have to act to be this character. I could just show up and just be myself. Oh, and it was so much fun, and I was like, yeah, sure. And it was the easiest. I mean, it took out maybe like 5 days, easiest 5 days of recording. It was so much fun, and yeah, I was so glad that I replied to his message and I didn't lose his number after knowing him all those years. So yeah, I was happy to be a part of it.
I'm curious about a project like this, your comedy background. How did that sort of influence or sort of prepare you?
Oh, it influenced everything. Literally, I'm just funny all the time. I can't help it. Naturally in my blood. And the character's funny. If she was a serious character, I don't think it would have gone over as well. But because she's so funny, and they let me do so much improv, so a lot of it is improv. A lot of it is like even just like the sounds she would make as a fairy, because it was very full on. It was very physical, even though it's my mouth. My mouth was very physical, and I had to be like, and like make funny noises and weird fairy noises and scream and fight and jump and leap, and I had to do that in character as a fairy. So I had to lean into my improv skills, and they let me keep in one-liners. They would let me tweak certain things, like how would you say it, or how would Sybil say it, and I feel like there's something about being a stand-up that naturally being funny and making characters funny is something that we can just do like that. And I think if I didn't have my stand-up background, there's no way Sybil would be as funny as she is. So yeah, came in handy. No worries.
I'm intrigued of how Audible and all these new audiobook companies are taking these space and telling these stories.
Yeah.
That normally people would have to wait development in TV and movie and whatnot.
Yeah.
And people, big names, new upcomers are leaning into it and just rolling out, giving people a new experience.
Yeah.
Was that something you had to wrap your head around a lot, or was it something that you're like, okay, I can easily make this world come to life in my head and just bring the character to life?
Yeah, it was so easy. Like, as a creative, I hate that term, but it's literally what describes us best. Yeah. We are creative, and like, you'd be surprised how much your creativity gets stifled by if you're trying to make a TV show or a movie, and then you've got to like write it out, and then you got to sell it, and then when you sell it, they have tweaks, and then they might be like, well, we felt this art for this character, and this character should be this, and this, and this, and this, and then you just get stifled, and then in the end, you could do all that work, and it doesn't even happen. So it's a no-brainer that everybody's turning to things like Audible, people like Audible, and media like this, because it's so easy to create worlds. It's not as expensive, and the creativity can really run wild in a way that it could never run wild if you did it in movie form or TV form. And so for me as a comic, I live in my brain. Like, we're always thinking of new jokes. I'm always thinking of funny situations. I'm always making myself laugh, and my imagination is huge. So this was easy. The only thing I found hard was being in character in the booth with no cameras on me, because I come alive when the camera's on me, darling. But there was no camera on me this time. So like, you're just in this little booth, and you've got to bring this character to life, and you don't want to be like weird and like really jump up and down, but you kind of need to do that to sell the script and to sell what's happening. So I found myself pulling weird faces and like bending down and jumping off my stool and doing crazy parkour just to like get the scene out, and that was the weirdest part. But it was very fulfilling. I enjoyed the whole process. Thanks.
What do you think about the impact it is about telling the story through something like Audible instead of television or film? Because that's a huge impact for people who are vision impaired.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that. What a good question. It's so true. Honestly, I didn't realize, but yeah, this is something that everyone can consume in a way that, you know, movie and TV you can't. Number one, and number two, I think there's so much TV and film out nowadays, and I just think the people are spoilt and the people are also bored, and so I would like to think that this kind of media and the way people consume audio stories is just something that's so innovative, fresh and new, and something that you can do while you're driving, while you're doing the washing up, while you're getting ready for bed. Like it doesn't take all of your time, but also it gets to you in a way that it grabs your attention in a way that TV and film can't. So I think it's actually personally the better way to go, especially right now that there's a strike. I think audio is going to get bigger and better, so I can't wait.
Cool. Thank you so much for getting
Wicked. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day.
Wonderful.